She told me she doesn't wear cheap shoes. Her shoes has to be a minimum of $500.
Man, there's something so powerful when you shift to this entrepreneurial journey and it's actually working. Life becomes so much more fun. When I started investing in the stock market, it was when I had the $12 an hour job. And then now when the six figures came in, it was like, wow, right? You're able to continue that momentum.
But you know, Miss, you just got to do it scared.
You just got to do it scared.
Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of the Nana Yaa Yeboaa Podcast. I'm in the studio today with Rosie Amponsa. I am trying to curtail my excitement, chasing after this beautiful young lady. She is so full of experience, of wisdom, of tact. I will not tell you about Rosie. Rosie will tell you about Rosie. Rosie Amponsa. Welcome to the Nana Yaa Yeboaa Podcast.
It is an honor to be here, Nana Yaa. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm very excited to be here to chat with you.
Thank you for saying yes. That was the first step. Thank you for saying yes. So give us a little bit about your background.
So I'm Ghanaian born, grew up in Massachusetts, and my background stems across healthcare, life sciences, some tech. It reached a certain point, I realized that when it comes to money, we have to be very intentional on how we make the money and how we keep the money. We can be very easy to spend our money because we need to be able to present ourselves in a certain limelight or lifestyle. But deep down in our hearts, we know that our bank accounts might be low, it might be hurting, and that does not bring peace of mind. And so my whole thing has been, how do we create a foundational sense of generational wealth to understand how we manage our finances, how we manage our life, that the reality of it is, in America, growing up as a Black woman, it can be really, really challenging, especially from a corporate standpoint. So I want to be in a space where if I feel like the experiences that I'm having, which I did have in one of my major corporate roles, has nothing to do with my job. I'm excelling at my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but yet there's always just that one thing. I want the ownership and the power to, oh, what am I doing? What is all this fanciness? Did I trigger that?
I have no idea.
But you have the platform on your side. Okay. Now if you let me go off, I'm going to go off. Okay, so let me put myself back in. But I wanted the power to be able to say, no, you're not going to be in the driver's seat of my career. And to be able to do that, you got to have money, right?
Yes.
And so I started to dig deep into just understanding different ways that you can make money and keep money. I've always been one to be a big saver, to learn how people are making money, investments, right? I've had to learn the hard way by thinking I'm going to make money tomorrow. Money burnt, lost, but realize that it's a slow progress. It's like sowing a seed and watching it turn into a seedling and then grow. And that's basically what I've been able to do. One, with my real estate portfolio, where in a matter of 2 years, I'm over 1.5 million in value in the properties, where I still have the ability to look at companies if I want to go back into the corporate space. But most importantly, I brought my time back. I've brought my time back in a space where now I can explore other avenues. And I'm so big on like the purpose that God has set for us that I can explore that even deeply and make more money from that direction if I want to, right? But the peace of mind of building just that foundational sense of finances is so critical. And that's kind of like what I want to stand on top of a mountaintop and say, hello, me pacho, biao, Nana Yaa Yeboaa.
You know, when I reached out to you and I had the conversation, or I think I wrote that we're looking at Black female and not broke. The reason why every time that comes up is when I came here almost 3 decades ago, many of the Black females I saw were young women, single mothers pushing strollers. So that was what I saw. And I don't know whether this is a word, but the brokeability was too much. Personally, I couldn't see myself doing that, living in metro housing here, as we call it in Toronto area, metro housing, or in the ghettos. It just wasn't gelling for me. It's like, how can I come all the way from Ghana, come into this country with the cold? Rosie,
the winter still affects you up to today. It still affects you. Yeah,
it does.
The winters are really bad in the Northeast. Yeah,
and it's a very good motivation. Don't sit on your ass. Sorry, did I just? Oh, snap!
You're good. You are A-okay. But you've said some truth to it. I think. For me, when I looked in those communities, because when we came here when I was young, it was such a struggle, I remember. And seeing around me and being like, man, this is not how I want to live and grow. But I know that my mom is doing the best that she can with what she has been given. So it was almost a foundational motivation, as in like, okay, what can I do? What do I need to do? How do I figure this thing out? Who do I need to go seek in order for me to change my life? That 10 years from today, when I'm in my 20s, when I'm in my 30s, I can sit back and be like, wow, these are the prayers that I prayed for that I'm now living in.
Wow. So you got it earlier. Some of us got it a bit later. And we had to hit rock bottom. Some of us had to hit rock bottom, and thank God for Google. I remember 2009 when I hit rock bottom. I Googled, how do white men become rich, or something like that.
Really?
I literally Googled it.
What did you find?
Oh, I did find information on stocks, information on bonds, information on real estate. I did find books written about, and I remember the first book that I picked up was by a gentleman named Derek Foster, who retired at 34 plus, and did stocks. And so, and the best thing about that book, I clearly remember, is that when I saw it, I checked the public library. It was available. So I went straight there, picked it up, brought it home. It was my Bible. I read through it, and there was so there's a form of stocks that is not on the general stock market. Like now you have Wealthsimple, iTrade, Ameritrade, all these people. There wasn't those then. But these were personal. Somebody can transfer one stock of a company to you, and it's a dividend paying stock. And then you could, progressively every month put in some money into it. So he spelled out exactly what he did. So I just followed those footsteps.
I need to be interviewing you. Hello? Are you guys hearing this wisdom right here? Wow. So I think I get an idea of what you're talking about. So who did you have to connect with to do the transfer for you to have ownership?
So there was a Google platform then that you put in, this is, my name is so and so. I'm interested in getting a stock of, say, Bank of Nova Scotia, BNS, and then somebody will reply to you. So, and then they will sell you that stock, which will be today's closing, plus a $10. Then it was $10 paperwork transfer thing. You'll be sitting home, and then you get your stock certificate with the name transferred into your name.
Wow.
And that's how you start. So for the most part, most of my stocks are held by Computer Trust.
Okay.
That is where, so I'm one of the single individuals who manage their own sort of mutual funds, the collection, and not, a bank, whatever, mutual fund. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so now I gotta interview you. So then, where is your portfolio today? How has it grown? What have you done with it? This interview has completely switched over now. Because years is where the knowledge is at. Years is what the knowledge is at.
It is. However, and this is the error many of us made, or error I made, that consistency, I did not. So I had them. I fell by the wayside, because otherwise by this time I should be able to say retiring from active nursing.
Yes.
And living off. But I just let it be for so long, and then just recently I went back to
picking
it back up with $100 in certain stocks every month, and then some of them $200 to build up. So I do a calculation: 100 a month in a year is 1,002. So I have one is 1,002, the other is 1,002, then one is 2,400, because those ones I'm doing 200. So calculating about 10% of what I earn going into those stocks for the year. So that is how I took it, because at the end of the day, for instance, one of the stocks has about 22,000 or so in it, and the dividend return is about 300 and something per quarter.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm still inputting the 200, and then the quarterly is also buying more. So the hope is that exactly. So letting your money work for you, the money's grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great.
That's like, and it's not so complicated. I'm so excited you said consistency was what you look back and you're like, man, if only I kept it going, even if it was just a small portion.
Yes.
And when you did it back in your day, it was actually really, really difficult for you to be able to manually do that, if you think about it. Because today, I just set it up on Vanguard, or if you have Fidelity or whatever it is, you set it up. And I don't know about Fidelity, but I have Vanguard, and I just click a button and my dividends are automatically going in. And then I connect it to my bank account. And even now, Vanguard is having their own account where you can put the money in there and then pick whatever stocks you want to buy. So basically what I'm saying is there's no reason why you shouldn't implement this sense of like automation or consistency to be able to see that growth. Because I tell you, I left my ETF portfolio for a few years. I mean, every quarter I'll go in and make sure the world is not ending or anything, but it will blow your mind when you just look back a few years and be like, I have $100,000 in here. How? It's the power of compound interest. It's the power of consistency, right?
Yes.
And so it motivates you even more. Like, all right, bet. What else can I do to be able to grow my net worth or grow my portfolio? Maybe minimize my spending, maybe minimize my going out, but obviously don't live such a timid life, right? Being able to create that balance. So I'm so glad you talk about this ideology around how consistency can completely transform your finances.
That is very true. I would have said I regretted, but those are lessons learned to be able to teach others. It's no longer when I go online, I can't find that Google group anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, because a lot of transformation has happened. And this is the best thing, that the first stock, I think it was Bank of Montreal, BMO. I was advised, I forget who, to look at the mutual funds, the prospectus of the banks. At that time, they had prospectus that were books that you could pick up, and you could look at the 10 years. The best mutual funds had at least 10 or 20 top companies in it. So I just replicated.
That's it. But that's how you do it, though. That's how you do it.
I just replicated it.
That's exactly how you do it. I think I've been seeing platforms where people are now tracking what folks in government have been buying and stuff, and they basically created platforms to replicate their buys because clearly they're doing something right, being in the position of power, still trying to stay legal. But people looking at like, wait, well, how has your stock grown this much? Let me create an app to mimic what you're doing and be able to do the same. And another fact, well, this is US based, but for the companies that are investing in the market, when they file, that's actually public information. Like people can find them. And because I know a friend who literally goes back. I mean, you can only go back a year because they need to file it. So you will see, we're in 24 now. So you'll see 23s and you'll be able to see, what's it called? Berkshire Hathaway. What they've invested. And imagine if you just replicated that, right? You don't have millions of dollars, but let's say you had $1,000. Let's say you had $500. You do the same percentages and you buy that and that and that and that, and you just follow them along. There's a good chance that if they're growing, you're also growing exponentially, right? But also there's the downfall, right? The market is crashing. Well, but this idea of don't reinvent the wheel, right? What you are looking for in terms of success has already been created. So how do you find it so you can replicate it? Yeah.
For me, there was always a formula. Look for that formula.
What is the formula?
What is the formula? And that is what I found. So this young man retired at 34 plus, say less than 35, on about 350 whatever then. It was the books he wrote that actually made him a millionaire.
That's what I love, man. Let me tell you, you wait till I start writing books. You just wait. Wait, Nana Yaa, till I start writing books. Oh, man. There was something so powerful about just teaching people how to advance themselves, that you make money from teaching people how to advance themselves. It's quite powerful.
It is. And like this conversation, when I found that, it was also mentally, refreshing, freeing. Because one book, actually, then he made references to other books that you could look at. So here, there was this guy called Gordon Pape, who was a journalist looking for financial information, couldn't find, so did his research and wrote a book. I think he's deceased now, long time ago. Then another book, it takes you to Graham. And then this book takes you to Think and Grow Rich. And then this one takes you to the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People.
Oh my gosh, I want to do a video about that. Yeah.
And then this one takes you to this. So it's like the wealth of information, and every book has a little bit to give to you. And at that time I was writing notes. So I write all my notes, then I sit and then sift through the notes to actually create my goal.
Wow.
So when I lost, when I hit rock bottom, that was a loss of 2 properties. It was just a turbulent time. But to come back up singularly on my own,
of course,
I had a plan. I thought it would take me 5 years. So I had a 5-year plan on how to do it. But it actually did take me 2.5 years.
Some of us are God's favorite,
But it's all the... I always say, give me a pen and a paper and then let me do my numbers. And then how to get those numbers. So tweaking here, there, doing this, doing that, throwing in an extra 100 into the savings account because everything was so budgeted for. I needed the 5%. And then I had the range I'm looking at buying. So 5% of, say, 300 is this, 10% of 300 is 30, 20% of 300 is 60. So I have all these different ranges of numbers I'm working with. So I'm working towards the high end, but if I hit the lower end, it also still fits within
your range.
The range. Yes.
I'm impressed, Nana Yaa. I need to be interviewing you.
I feel like I'm talking and I'm supposed to be talking. Oh my goodness. Oh, Rosie.
But listen, I think this journey for me, I love that I've gotten the opportunity to meet you, because sometimes when we're doing things, we're doing it in a bubble, you know?
Yes.
But then when you get to meet somebody and you learn, okay, this is how I did it to get to my path. Ooh, knowledge. How can I apply it to mine as I go on my journey? Because for me, this is just the beginning. Like, all I've done is just lay the foundational bricks. That's it.
Yes.
Now it's like, how am I building my pillars and whatnot to create this life of my craziest and wildest dreams, you know?
Yes.
So
it is possible. It is possible. It is possible.
Agree.
But I've been told not to stress too much, not to put too much stress on myself. So I have kind of calmed down a
Calm
bit
it down.
and focus more on, the having beautiful conversations, learning from people like yourself. Believe you me, I think that's the word. Oh geez. I'm watching your videos and I'm saying, oh my goodness, this girl's got it. By the time you get to where I am, you are A-okay.
Woo! Yeah.
So I understand you did an MBA.
Yes, I did.
How is that valuable in this journey? Because I remember one of your videos, you're talking about getting all these degrees, and I'm counting the degrees I have right now and one that I was going to attempt again. And it's like, is Rosie talking to me that I'm chasing too many degrees and these degrees are not paying?
You're gonna get me in trouble. Well, let me say this. I think there has to be a separation between seeking education and making money. Folks, we might believe that if I go and get these big degrees, that means I'm going to get this big job. Now that correlation might be true, but the job that you might get might not be satisfactory to your journey or your path, or it might not prove to be the level of income that you are looking for. What I want folks to start, what I want my generation, or what us to start thinking about is, how do I create value? Because if you're thinking about making money, it's really a direct correlation to value. How do I put value in the marketplace so that I can deliver this value to somebody and be able to get money in return? Money is in constant circulation. I remember someone made a quote that if we gave, I don't know, $10 or $100 to every single person in the world, eventually all that money will go back up to like the top 10% or whomever, right? Because maybe they figured out how to put value in the marketplace to be able to get that money back, because I sold you a purse, because I sold you a car, because I sold you XYZ, and you found value in that item that you gave your money to. So when it comes to education, absolutely. If it wasn't for the foundation of education and, African parents, hello, there's no ends to how many degrees you can get. But I think we need to start having a conversation that just because you're getting the big degrees doesn't mean you're going to get that big, high-paying job. And especially being in a space where I was working with doctors, surgeons, basically folks in the medical field, and I get to know them on a familial level where they share with me that, Rosie, I'm going to have to show up to work every day until I die in order to sustain this life I've built for myself. How is that good? When you're making $400,000, $600,000, $800,000, $1 million a year, close to $1 million a year, but if you take your foot off the pedal, you're going to choke. Like everything is going to come crumbling down against you. Then what money management have you learned? You know what I'm saying? So I think there has to be a separation. Like, I'm getting this knowledge because I'm building myself. I'm bringing more skills. It will complement the skills I'm bringing to the marketplace, but not necessarily, this is what's going to make me that $1 million. Let's go. No, I think we have to change our mindset and how we're managing our finances, how we're bringing value to the marketplace to increase our wealth and make more money.
All that you said is true, but that is where some of us get stuck with, oh my goodness, how do I do this? And myself, it took me a lot of, because I hit rock bottom, I wanted a way out. But not only that, it's also because I was unhappy. And and I'm still partially still unhappy with the profession, but I need to pay my mortgage. Kids are going to college.
Yes.
Yes.
You
So
you gotta go and do it, even if you don't like it, right?
yes. So some of us are still caught there. So it's a struggle against the grain, trying to breathe and become financially okay, that I don't have to work so much so long, and be able to retire less than the retirement age, which I tried. It did not work out for me, so I came back into the work.
The workforce. I have to ask you, what was like that main thing that was like, oh no, this is not going to be sustainable. I gotta come back.
Because number one, my planning was too short, and I have crazy short plans. My planning, I started when I hit 40, that by my mid 40s, I will be retiring. But what I did rather was resign. Resign from the bedside and tried management. But I didn't like management. Because when everybody tells you, oh, you'll be good at this, you'll be good at this, you'll be good at this, and you go in and it's like, oh no, this is not my forte. I'm good at it, but I'm not happy in it.
I have so much to say about this.
Go ahead.
Well, first off, I think happiness is not continuous. It's a state, right? How do you foundationally feel from like a joy perspective on where you are in life, what you've been able to achieve so far? I think sometimes we have to look at where we were versus where we are now and be able to find joy in that. When it comes to happiness, really, for me, I actually think I don't believe in retirement. I think I don't believe in retirement because life was not made for you to get up and go and get a job so that you can then wake up, do it over, and then retire at the end of that age. So because of that, there are foundational questions I ask myself. You need money to survive. You're surviving right now as we speak. You've gotten to a point of life where you have a nice place to live, you have a car, there's certain expenses that you have. What are those expenses? You know, we desire for the big life, right? On a yacht. Hey, hello, I want that too. But the reality of it is, most of us only spend a few $1,000s a month to maintain our lives. Just a few $1,000s, not much. Everything else is excess and extra. So let's say in the grand scheme of things, I'm spending $10,000 a month to manage my life. Okay, that's $120,000 cash in a year. So my question becomes, I don't like this job right now. It doesn't make me happy. I've calculated exactly what I need plus an X percentage in gap to make up for anything. I just need to make $10,000 a month. And if you are like somebody, you said you've got all the degrees, you've been through the jobs, and those jobs pay high. So it should give you a bit of confidence that you yourself can create a solution that also will give you that level of income as well.
So you're talking to somebody whose life decision brought her into this profession. However, whose initial professional love was journalism. So there's
and you know you're an African mom too, so I'm side eyeing you for not pursuing it because you know our African mothers, you have to go and do this and that and that.
And so this is where when you migrate here at the age I migrated here, I came to university here. What you see, like I didn't see any Black people on television. So that automatically is like, okay, I already have a science background. So let me just go do what I know I'm comfortable with. And then I initially wanted to go into public health. However, seeing that the jobs in public health really work, there's a lot of nursing openings in public health. So I jumped into nursing. I looked at what they needed and just fitted it into my first degree to get that qualification and just applied into it and just ran into it. So I didn't want to stress.
Hmm. Wow.
But I think one of the things that I didn't foresee was that I could have still pursued journalism beside nursing.
I
But
agree. I agree. But I mean, you're doing it now, right? And but what I don't want to happen is this overwhelming stress of trying to figure out how journalism will replace your nursing income.
oh, I put that on pause. This is a labor of love.
Yeah.
I love having. Girl, let me tell you, the number of people I've been privileged
Wow.
to have conversations with, to
Wow.
learn from,
Wow.
is amazing.
Mm.
It's amazing. So it's that's why I'm always so pumped up with, and I have to contain myself because I'm a very happy, giggly person.
Which
I,
is a blessing on its own. It's a blessing on its own.
I have to contain myself, but I have put that on pause to say that there is a timeline given that when I hit that, there's going to be transformation. And then also looking at, I have actually started a different business that, hopefully it will pick up.
What business is it?
Oh, it's actually I have some here. So this is organic black soap, Eli's. Can you see it?
Oh,
Yes,
in liquid form?
liquid form for face. So this is a facial.
Oh.
Yes, and this is Eli's also. This is black Jamaican castor oil. This is for her. So shea oil, black seed oil, and peppermint. So that is what I'm working on with the the guy that produced it, to be able to, as you say, sell yourself, sell it.
That's the only way. And we gotta see you on TikTok. We gotta see you over on TikTok with these
Oh,
products.
okay. I'll come over on TikTok with the product.
The
Yes.
product. You know what's trending a lot right now with the black castor oil? A lot of people, are into health and wellness.
Yes.
And they're finding that the black castor oil has a lot of benefits when you put it on the skin. So some people would like put it in their belly button and help
Yes.
like reduce cramps or helps to cleanse. Some people would put it in wherever, like some might put it on their breast, their lower back, stuff like that, and then they have like a cover on it. It's like the whole big rave now because apparently the chemical makeup of castor oil penetrates and it helps
Into this.
to release maybe if you have lumps or clumps and things like that. There's research from what I was reading, but I didn't follow heavily, but it's been a big trend. So just as an FYI, since you already have one of the ingredients in your product, let's make it
My
even money.
products. Yes, yes.
And you have healthcare. You have healthcare.
I do healthcare background. And I actually used to I used to have a side hustle, a massage studio. This is actually a massage studio converted. That's why that
Really?
relax is still there. Yes.
See, we should have done the interview in person, so I could have got a little massage before my
No problem. My co-workers know me to give massages like crazy. They know me to give massages like crazy. Yes. So, let's talk about some key stuff that we need to look at as people, as women, or in general as people who want to build and who want to build the life that they need to for the future. And I believe it's never too late to start, whether you're 40, whether you're 50, whether you're 55. The most important thing is start.
All right, you've said it, and I absolutely agree with you. I think making the decision, I think sometimes people forget that they have the power. You have the power to change your own life. And making that decision, like you said, just start, is so fundamental that in just 1 year, you could completely shift, completely transform your life on the decisions that you take. And for me, like, finding ways to make things a bit more consistent, right? It is like, hey, I'm going to put 10% down of my income. You don't need to have the big income to start. When I started investing in the stock market, it was when I had the $12 an hour job. And I said, I'm going to take that small percentage of it and I'm going to put it into ETFs, or I'm going to do this and that. And it was small, but I'm looking at it like, ooh, I have $1,000. Ooh, I have $2,000. And then now when the six figures came in, it was like, wow, right? You're able to continue that momentum. So I think we need to believe that we have the power to change our lives. And we also deserve to have an experience that is good, that is great, right? That money is not an issue and a problem for us or our community. We can easily come by it because we're valuable. We're valuable. We were put here because we are of value. So we just need to be able to connect the dots in terms of what value we're putting out in order for money to just be easy and just come to us. Like, hello, money comes to us. Hello.
And for those listening, I know sometimes when people speak and everything, you think it's easy. It is not easy. It's not an easy journey, but definitely, just like Rosie said, you got to plan it. You got to plan it and be consistent. And $12, 10% aside, it makes no whatnot. And if you are an African and you have a susu group, a partner group that is called Force Savings, please utilize it. Even up to now, yesterday I just sent my susu money in. It is not a lot, it's only $100, but with a group, when you get your money, is $1,000. Or if you do 200, it's 2,000. If you do 500, it's 5,000.
Yeah.
However much you can. And when this little money comes, it's normally for my emergency when my sub pump is gone in the basement and I need money ASAP. Or a tenant tells me their dishwasher broke and I say, thank God you didn't call me because you were in good. Okay, let me just zip it.
No, you listen, I just bought a new AC system. That's a few grand. Boom, gone.
My AC system went in my house, and that is my AC and heater. So the two of them, 7,000 plus. But because I financed, it's going to be about 12,000, whatever. So now I'm looking at a way of pulling everything together, clearing it in one, and just having one
payment. Yeah.
So it's not easy, but it's the continual, knowing that there is a way and finding that way. And listening to people like Rosie and finding out how did they do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that earlier you talked about, look, I hit rock bottom and I went Googling. I went Googling the most basic questions. Someone will be like, well, where do I start? Google, right? I'm so glad to be here having this conversation where we can share more of my journey, learn more from your journey, but also what initiative are you taking to learn the basics? Right? You just mentioned Susu. I think that's phenomenal. The money comes to you. What are you using it for? Right? What have you been? Some people are not even aware when the money comes in. A month later, they're like, hey, what did I use all this money for? But imagine if you were putting it in an ETF portfolio. Imagine if you were putting it down for down payment for your first rental property. Right? Oh, my goodness. Like, how powerful is that? Right? And then you start realizing that, oh, money is something different. Money is not just about going to get a degree so I can make more money, but it's about respecting the principles of money.
Yes.
Right? And being able to apply that to your life. So it's kind of fascinating. Once you shift into this entrepreneurial realm, it's a whole different mindset. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
And I do remember one of the earliest books I read, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Oh, don't get me
And
started. That's
even
one of
it's
my
an
favorite
audio.
books. You know, that book actually got me closer to reading the Bible. Like, it got me more into the principles of the Bible, because as I kept reading, I was like, this sounds like I've heard of it before.
Yes, yes,
Dang,
yes.
I was just about to do a video about this. I've done a few videos. You mentioned seven
Seven Habits of Highly
yes, I just did a
Effective
script. So
People.
I'm about to do. This is crazy. Just how things are all connecting, how we're matching, what we're talking about.
Ma Rosie, Ma Rosie, Ma
Nana
Rosie.
Yaa, Nana Yaa.
It as well. I love this energy so much. The other thing that I think we need to hone in on is our people who are in healthcare working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and the monies are not really going anywhere. Any advice?
Well, let me ask you this first. When you say the money's not really going anywhere, what do you mean?
Very good question. You know, half of us are here, one foot in Canada, the other foot in Ghana. And a lot of monthly money is going to Ghana for family or for projects. And then a generation like mine, then you have children, and then you have your older folks here. You cut in different places. I remember having a conversation with 2 older Ghanaian women. They may be close to retirement, late 50s or early 60s, and they want to retire to Ghana, but they don't have property in Ghana. They don't have property here either.
Mm.
And they're still working 2 jobs.
So where's the money going?
Brofo Bisame Minyi no say.
You know, I think the core of it is we are not brought up to understand the rules about money.
Mm-hmm.
The foundational core principles about money has never changed. And once all these books that we're mentioning, from The Richest Man in Babylon to once I realized the core principles about money, I took a look at my paycheck very heavily. And every single dollar that was coming in, I could tell you exactly where it was going. It's not because I stopped going out or I stopped hanging out with friends, but it's because I became aware.
Right.
Whether we like it or not, we live in a capitalistic society. So that means money moves. Money is what puts shelter over our head, gets us moving, gets all these good lucks going on around here, these inches. The bottom line is we have to start shifting our mindset. I am blessed to be the daughter who can say, I don't have to send money back because I don't have to in Ghana.
Yes.
But there has to be a line drawn between individuals we are responsible for, like children, versus individuals that we have to give them the ownership to be able to take charge for themselves. Unfortunately, I see so many stories online today about projects being started and they go back home and it's like this dirt, you don't even own land. Or folks have been asking you for money, but the 1 minute you don't send it, you're like the devil.
Yes.
You know? And it's like, at what point are we going to wake up and be like, where do we draw the line? Because at the end of the day, if you're somebody who's taking care of that external, I know your kids are being taken care of. And I think from a human perspective, that is the primary responsibility, right? Because that's the gift that God gave you. So I don't know, but it reaches a certain point, like, it's not about you being mean, but it's about you protecting your well-being.
And normally what I do say is the focus should actually be here where you are, your space. whether you own property. And look at how I'm about formula. Maybe because I did chemistry, whatever, physics or whatnot. Because there's a formula.
There is. There is.
And if other people are utilizing the formula, why can't you utilize the same formula?
You know what though? Maybe sometimes, I don't know if it's a sense of like not believing that you deserve to have a better life, or if it's a sense of you've never seen it. I don't know. I don't know. That what you just said is so interesting. What do you think is holding folks back?
So, with my experience, when I came here all those years ago, they had a certain mindset and a certain lifestyle. I remember almost 3 decades ago, somebody telling me. So I used to be a hairdresser. When I came here, I was doing hair.
Not yeah, my goodness. You're gonna give me a massage. Then you're gonna get these inches on. And then what else are you gonna
Curl.
do? You're gonna just everything. You got me covered.
So I remember this woman telling me that the shoes and the dress, and I think the dress he bought, a pantsuit she bought then was about $700. That was 3 decades ago. So we used to do the braiding, how do you call it, micro braids. When you do micro braids, those times you could charge $250, $300, depending on the.
Back then. Yeah,
it was big back then because there weren't many people doing it. So those of us that had the skill, you get the people coming, and it really baffled my mind. Years later, another girl that I was having a conversation with, at that time I'd bought my first property, I was having a conversation with, had the audacity to tell me that she doesn't wear cheap shoes because I'd bought a $9.99 from Payless. There was a shoe thing, and I was, basking in my $9.99 shoes. She told me she doesn't wear cheap shoes. Her shoes has to be a minimum of $500 or something like that. And I said, well, my money doesn't go that. My money buy houses, not shoes.
That's facts. And that's the mindset. That is truly the mindset, that it's like, how do we influence our community to start thinking that way? That real value is not because you bought the most expensive shoe in the store, but it's about you set yourself up for peace of mind in the future.
But that's my generation. Your generation are doing much better than my generation. You're doing much better. There's this Georgia Champon guy that also does the minority money something, and I listened to him interview what's this guy's name, the Wall Street Trapper.
Oh, I gotta find this.
Yes, the Wall Street Trapper. I listened to him interview this guy, and there's one thing this Wall Street Trapper said that really caught my attention, that he also got his, was introduced into the stock market in jail by this white dude who'd been incarcerated for financial crimes, and he was there for possible manslaughter or whatever, one of those charges. But he learned about the stock market from this guy and started reading and monitoring the stock market and everything. And that is the knowledge and skill he came out with. And so his name is Wall Street Trapper.
I have to look for him.
But the key thing he said was that when he gets to the hustlers, when he gets to people from the streets, on the streets hustling, they are never afraid to lose money.
See, that's a serious businessman, okay?
Yes. They are never afraid to lose money.
Because they can make more of it.
because they can make more of it. And he said, if you want to make $1 million, be prepared to lose about 100,000.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
For that, absolutely.
when he said that, I started laughing, because that is what will keep us in our safety boxes, because we are afraid to lose that 100,000 to get that $1 million. It's that shift.
Okay.
It's that poverty mentality that often sits. I don't want to lose money. But like you said, the stock market goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. And you have to have a long term, yes.
But eventually, where is it going?
Up.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah.
It's going up. Yes. Oh, my goodness. My goodness.
You said something here. You just got me thinking on this sense of the fear of losing maybe the little that you've already built, whether it's you've got a good job and it's making good money. Hey, let me just, keep it small and just keep putting the cash under my bed or whatever it is. But let me go and buy something nice to treat myself. And it's like, but there's nothing being built here. There's no knowledge on how to manage money happening here.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes. So we need more conversations like from you and other people on money, and specifically for women. For women, because sometimes with the guys, if you don't have children, it's easy. It's much more comfortable to navigate. But if you are a single woman, if you're a single mother, sometimes that's where the challenges do occur, because it's easier for the men to walk, but then you are saddled with a child or children.
Yes.
So how do you do it?
I've heard the story so many times. I think that's one of those things too that drove me. And I said, I will never put myself in that position. As a matter of fact, I'll take it further. I will create a life where if I have to stay home full time with my kids, I can do that with ease and peace of mind. Mm-hmm. And the kids are not even here yet. Because these men are playing. These men are playing in the streets, okay?
It's so funny that you're saying that. They're not playing in the street. The unfortunate thing that I find, Rosie, is that we have created a generation of very strong women, and for the most part, we have also pulled our men down. So they're trying to also find, it's like, what do I do to make which is right? How do I say this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And so they are also not getting where we expect them to be, because we've already suppressed them.
No, I'm going to say something. I don't know because look, for me, I feel like maybe the women from my generation woke up and said, whoa, I have to do something, because if not, some of the circumstances I saw growing up in my community, I do not want it replicated. And I think if I were to say something in regards to the men in my generation, and I have guy friends who are 10xing where I'm at, and I'm learning from them. But for the most part, those that, like you said, have still not made their way. I think there has to be a harsh reality of taking ownership. I think that's just the bottom line, because it didn't come easy for me or you, but we woke up and figured it out. And so what is your excuse to not stand in and be able to build a life where I can be with you and say that, you are leading me because you've learned and you've grown and you built a life, that I can feel confident in you leading me in our next generation of our life.
Many of these men, aside from society, it's we mothers that also groom them. For me, my advice to any male figure who chances to watch this conversation is to get a counselor, a therapist, because we have traumas and wounds that many of us are even unaware of. We need to heal ourselves. We need to build ourselves up. My generation, we don't do mentorship. I have 2 different mentors for 2 different things. It's one of my mentors that I'm working with on this product.
On the
The other one is on storytelling and whatnot. It's a different aspect.
wow.
Yes. And it's something that I decided to seek out. And then there are the mentors that that don't know they are mentoring me.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
But I listen to them because they are very straightforward and they don't mince words. And I don't like people who mince words. I want it exactly what needs to be said, what needs to be done, put it there. But many of us don't take that time to look for those mentors. Everybody needs a mentor in life, and for different aspects
I agree.
of their lives. But we don't do that. So many of our men are psychologically broken, and they don't even know they are broken.
Oof.
They are emotionally hurt, and they don't even know who hurt them. So they need counseling
Oof.
or therapy to unearth all these things, to really get to know them, love them, and build.
You gotta
That
do
is
a
the
only.
only.
Hello. You got all the answers. You got all the answers.
Rosie, that's the only way they can come to you, Rosie. Full, holistic mind, body, and soul that you can see. Otherwise, they'll come to you broken. And you can never fix a broken man because they need to fix themselves.
Not around here, partner. We don't do that around.
But it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible if the person is open-minded and willing to work with you and not bottle stuff in and everything. Rosie, if I say I'm going on, we will not finish.
No, but this is so important to talk about,
It
because
is.
a lot of us we've had to take the ownership in building. A lot of my girlfriends, I mean, we're out here killing it in the streets, as they say, but it's like, where are our counterparts,
And I'll say your counterparts are there, but it's also the places you go. The places and the spaces you frequent will change it, because these high net worth, high brainiac men looking for partners in life will go to certain places that when you go and you meet and you start having conversations, it's like, oh, I didn't know there were women like you.
I think I also have to be a bit open-minded, because I have been in those spaces, but then when the offer, I have to be a bit more open-minded, because sometimes I might create in my mind what I think it's supposed to look like. And then when it doesn't present that way, because you already cemented it in your brain, you tend to, walk away. So that's something I'm working on.
That is you putting a stumbling block in front of you before even there was a stumbling
Oh my gosh, look at me creating problems for myself.
Yes. So if you chance to be in those spaces where you meet somebody of your, caliber, and have conversations of the same mindset, of the same intensity, or maybe they may know a little bit more than you and will be able to help you navigate where you're going and work in partnership. Mommy, we are all not perfect.
I know.
There is no perfect human being. But so far as there is clear, concise communication and you guys can plan together, Mommy, you will work it out.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Everything will work. Everything will work out. But yeah, I'm excited for it. The idea to meet somebody, to learn from them, to see what they've built, right? For me to be able to cry and tell them all about my contractor dramas and all of the tenant dramas and whatnot, and for them to give insight because they've 10x'd what they are doing already. It's just so dope, and I look forward to that.
Yes. And maybe may not be the person you meet, but the person you meet will introduce you to somebody else. And, when you connect the dots, it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Rosie, I love connecting the dots, and it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And like, I'm not sure whether we talked about killing dreams or whatnot.
Ooh. No, this is good. This is really important. Please go.
I remember about last year, somebody wanted to kill this dream of the podcast because they asked me whether it was bringing me money, and I said not yet. At that time, my followership was still, maybe in the 2000s or whatnot. And for me, it wasn't a matter of doing it because of the money, but it was doing it, like I said, because I have the opportunity to speak to people from across, different parts of the world, different skills, different expertise, like so many people. So that is what gives me joy, being able to tell the story, bringing the story out, like two Ghanaian women talking about real estate in Canada and then the United States, talking about our challenges, our successes,
business, life,
exactly, family. Like, how cool is this?
No, that's real. No, this is really, really cool. This is very cool. I did have a young Ghanaian guy. I had gotten an intern at the local university, and as soon as he saw my name, he reached out and applied, and he's like, "Whoa, do you own this business?" Wow. He was just so blown away because he's like, "No, in the community, all we're being told is just go get the degrees and whatnot." And so how did you pivot? How did you make it happen? And sometimes you're just so focused and head down and you're just going that you don't realize that you're breaking serious generation expectations and different paths, and you're just shaking up what the rule is supposed to look like. So
it is very true. Every time I go back to when I came to Canada, where we settled in Toronto, and I look at people still living there, still the same apartment, and me living in the outskirts, I'm very comfortable in my space. And I wouldn't say generally net worth wise, I am, when you look at the Ontario, how do we call it, margin, I'm way over there.
Oh, wow.
My net worth wise, I'm okay. It's just the cashy that I need to work on, the fluid cash coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was driving at was that, they're still stuck there, and which is really sad, because for some reason, even when you talk to them about this, media mean to me, media say. But if you already do that, that is media say, but they can buy lace $250, $300. Well, so go to outdooring. Can you believe I don't even have a black cloth for a funeral?
The funeral. How? That's the number one thing.
If you invite me for funeral, I'm coming in black pants and a black top or a black dress. I have a little black dress, constant. I had to detox. Get some of these things, and unless I'm invited into a program, I don't step foot there. I need to be invited before I go, because it used to be every time, I'm going here. Why not pick up a book and read? I'll be interviewing this author later.
Oh, wow.
But I have stuff to do, stuff that will bring value to people. Even if one person watches it and gets something from it, I'm good.
I feel you on that, because that's literally how I feel about my channel. Like, the power or what's driving us is knowing that we have information that we feel we need to put out there. And we know that even if one person watches this and says, an idea sparked in me, I'm going to do something different today. Like, that is so satisfactory to me, that I will put in however many hours I need to put in to create this content and bring it out there. And I think that is where our excitement needs to lie. And it's not about, oh, Nana, oh, I don't think I can do it. And this is what I admire about my oldest sister. She's a single mom of 3. And, she didn't get the opportunity to go to college and things like that. But she started a business. She runs a pretty successful cooking business, cooking for all the folks that do the parties over the weekend, that do the funerals over the weekend. Yeah, she's captured that market. She's captured the market for sure. And anytime we talk, it's like, oh, I'm going to sign up for this class to learn more about computer. Oh, I'm going to sign up for this class and learn how to do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, yes. And she feels it. She's like, I just want to push it forward. And so I'm like, if she can do it, then what is stopping you? You didn't have X, Y, and Z. But I look at her and I'm like, oh, she's moving, then I need to 10X it. I need to go.
Yes. And it's so, you use your sister as an example. I was in Sierra Leone earlier this year, and there were a couple of gentlemen, crying about the state of Sierra Leone, and they wanting to, get out of Sierra Leone and make it. Meanwhile, as I was going into the country, there was a whole lot of foreign nationals coming in. So if there's nothing good in the country, why are all these foreign nationals coming in? There are so many things I saw that they didn't see.
Nope.
They use their data to watch the irrelevant things. Meanwhile, I said, you could use your phone, learn how to speak Mende. So I did one video, I think I posted it there on my thing, to let them know how it's done and how simple it can be if 2 or 3 of them together can say, we have a YouTube channel. This one is directing, this one is doing this, and this is, learning to speak this language, Mende, when you come into Sierra Leone. And yes, people will build it, because I have Duolingo on my phone. I'm learning German. It's for entertainment. I think I'm at 88 or 89 days streak, whatnot.
What can you not do? Dang.
It's entertainment for me. It's a little bit at a time. I'm doing Coursera, a free psychology 101 thing there. When I remember, I go, I sit, I watch. I'm doing an exam, I failed, and it's like, people, don't stress me. My brains are not working that way.
I'm tapped. Slow down.
And then I left it yesterday and I slept till this morning. It's like, okay, I'll reattempt it later. But we are in an information age with resources at our fingertips. In fact, should anybody see any of your videos, there's so much wealth of information that you put out that if I had that wealth of information when I was starting, I wouldn't have stressed. Because you've done the work, you've put it together, and you said, this is it. So why stress? But let me take us back to, so anybody in Nigeria, Ghana, in Africa watching this, let me take it back. There were 2 or 3 years ago when I was in Ghana, every Uber vehicle I took, I did financial education. Because the Uber driver drives Uber, gets about 100 Ghana cedis then, or 80 Ghana cedis, and then And that is after paying the owner and everything. So that is their money. And then that's it. So, and I asked, put 10% of the 80 CDs or the 100 CDs, 8 CDs a day or 10 CDs a day away. Because you'll not feel the loss of 8 or 10 CDs.
No, you won't.
And that's 1/10 of what you're bringing home. And at that time, I think treasury bills were still a thing in Ghana. And go to the bank and ask, I have 500, I have 1,000 Ghana. I want to put it in a treasury bill. Because I made one of them calculate for me, if they put in, say, 10 CDs a day, times, and they say they work 7 days. So 10 times 7 is 70 CDs. That's the week. And then you calculate it by the month. Then by the, how do we call it? By the days of the month. Then by the months in the year times 12. And it was a sizable amount. It's like, hey, sister,
And then wait till you blow your mind about the interest that they're going to be earning and reinvesting that interest. That's when your money just explodes.
And I said, okay, you do this, we have 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, our treasury bills. Usikano wo ama one adie, okay. Uchi se sikana se edan kakra asase kakra bi da ukrom na obetimi ata. Wo de to kakra bi na kakra no yeden si dan wo so. That is real estate investment. Their mindset of real estate investment was the big houses in Accra. I said, no. Even if you buy land, it is real estate investment.
Yes.
If you build a chamber and hall and you rent it out in the village or in the outskirts to somebody, it is real estate investment. And then keep doing what you're doing. Go back to it and replicate. Hey, it's where you know her sister.
Yeah.
If the person doesn't know, how will the person teach you?
Wealth is not outside of you. It's not far away. Exactly where we are, you can start building wealth.
You can start building wealth. Years back, I met a taxi driver who was a cobbler, shoemaker.
Oh, cool.
He was a shoemaker, moved from Kumasi to Accra doing the shoemaking. Through the shoemaker, he got some money and bought a taxi, an old beaten taxi.
Nice.
So he learned to drive and he was driving that taxi himself. And through that, he got money and bought a second taxi, a newer one. So he was driving the newer one and gave the older one out and said he was. So he picked me up in the newer one. So he was planning on getting another one and then do that to work and pay. And I said, Abrantia, why idea? From a shoemaker to owning 2 vehicles in Ghana then. If by today
he kept it going,
and he owns a fleet of vehicles or a logistics company. So it is within us, the mindset we have, the ability to do.
Yeah.
And not letting anybody stand in our way. Because sometimes we focus so much on money. If this thing is not bringing you money, then stop.
Then stop it.
Hey, sister.
And then the community of we are
yes,
or something like that. And if you're surrounded by that community, it's so hard for you to see outside of it.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make that move, take that action.
Yes, and that is so critical when you say the community. I think in one of your videos, you have to touch on it. In one of your videos, you talk about not sharing your dreams.
I'm so big about this. I'm so big about this. I think because our culture is so opinionated and we're all just so passionate, if you may say, and
negative.
Yes, it can be very detrimental. It can be very detrimental because if I am an influential figure in your life and I don't see you doing what you're doing, I'm going to completely crush it. But at a very young age, I just said, how are you able to see what is in my mind? Yes. How are you able to see what I prayed for? You know? And so it reaches a certain point that you have to kind of take a bit of a hard step and be like, I'm making this decision out of faith. Because for me, being someone who believes in God, I can confidently say that if I prayed and God gave me this vision, He's not going to give me a foolish vision. He's not going to give me something that I'm going to hurt myself or fail miserably at it. Right? And so I have to take the initiative to make that move. And it's hard to be like, oh, it's not about not listening to your parents or not listening to your aunties or uncles, but it's about being aware of where you believe you're supposed to be and not spending time investing the energy into sharing it to get the acceptance of this influential community, but taking action. Because I've learned it over and over and over. You take that action, you see the results, you turn around, you come back. The people that were standing here being the nose like this at you are going to be the same people that are praising you.
It's true. It's true.
They're gonna act like they never even said any of these harsh words to break your dreams.
They are the ones who will be coming for the money from you.
You know what I mean? Hey. And you look at them sideways like, do you remember? Hey. And then because you're the one that, you have the dream, so it hurts you more. You kept those words. But then they forgot. They've
forgotten. Hey, sister, somebody mona muye sikafo. Odi o mami kakra we odi mami kura hwe yinsi.
No, ma'am.
You become the money. You become the money pit that everybody wants to. But when you started, they really wanted to kill the dreams. So indeed, they are dream killers, but don't let anybody kill your dreams. And you got to trust in yourself. You got to trust in yourself and work. It's like create more value for you. Yes. So that when you get into the room, people know that you are there.
Absolutely.
And when the idea comes, so this is the little tweak that I think it's the people you share your dreams with. It's not everybody you can share your dream with.
No.
If you find people have no valuable input into you, I beg, keep your dreams to yourself. Ask God.
But you know what? Some people might feel like, oh, I need to share. Buy a notebook. Write it inside. Write it in the notebook. Write it in the notebook.
That's true.
And close your book and go and sleep and wake up and take action. That's it. What's true. Important about the dream is that you take action on it. And what results did you see that either gave you the result you're looking for or that you needed to pivot? The life, man, there's something so powerful when you shift to this entrepreneurial journey and it's actually working. Life becomes so much more fun. It becomes so much more exciting. Like, I can't wait to see what my YouTube channel becomes. I can't wait to meet the Nana Yaas of the world and folks reach out to me and be like, hey, Rosie, we saw it. I can't wait to see the messages that I receive. And they're like, oh, I was thinking about starting to invest in the stock market or starting this business. I can't wait for my nephew. You think my generation is going, you need to see the next generation coming up. My little nephew. He's like, Auntie, I put my birthday money into the stock market. It's all or nothing right now because I have nothing to lose. 15, 16. Hello? Who's teaching you this? Maybe you learned from me or something. But life becomes much more exciting when you realize, oh, there's a different way to make money. You get to explore the gifts that God gave you. You get to build value into the marketplace. You get to understand the psychology of what brings foundational joy, and figuring out how to make money that makes sense for you. I think
Yes.
it's so vital. And the rules and principles around money.
Money. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. Rosie, if we continue, we will never stop. And
I'm sorry, Robert. So yeah, I'm sorry.
yes, I dear Betty.
I thank you. The way I'm gonna be dragged in these cars with my cheek. I can't wait to
No.
She's gonna be like, oh, you're teaching them key as well.
Idea Betty, there's always a possibility. You know, if in Ghana, despite them were able to start selling CDs on a table and slowly, gradually build and now have businesses and, you know, radio stations and everything. Like you said, it's a compound effect. It is also the mindset of transforming and, you know, strategizing and growing big, which has brought him that far. There are people on the continent doing it. It's a struggle, yes. It's a struggle here as well. It's a struggle everywhere.
Absolutely.
There's this story of a Ugandan man who had no shoes. I think I've told this story a few times. I have to look for this man and actually interview him myself.
Please.
Yes. He had no shoes, so he was very poor. He decided that, you know, rub a car tire, the car tires, draw his leg in it and made in Ghana we call it shoshiatare, slippers like chaluote.
Okay.
Yes. And when he did that, somebody asked him, where did he get it? And he said he did it himself. And it's like, oh, can you make it for me? Yes. So measure the legs and also did the same thing. And then, because if you pour and there are car tires strewn all over and you could use it to make the slippers, that in the villages, it lasts longer than these bathroom slippers. So in solving his problem, he solved other people's problems as well.
Wow.
And now he's blown.
Really? This is like a real story?
It is a real story. Years ago, I stumbled upon it years ago. It is a real story.
What stands out to me about what you just shared is he had everything he needed to start changing his life.
Yes. We all do have everything we need to change our lives.
Yeah.
But that is the sad part. That is not to say that sometimes it's difficult to figure out. It's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? And like Rosie said, get a journal, a notebook, anything that comes to your mind, write. Offload, download, write it. Because you may be watching a television, you may be listening to Rosie's podcast, you may be listening to this podcast. Somebody may say something, the trigger will come. And then because subconsciously you've written everything, it's like, oh, yeah, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, and everything is lurking, then you ain't gonna get there.
Mm-mm.
Rosie, any last advice before we leave?
Man, I think you've shared it all, but this has been a very, very valuable conversation for me too. So thank you for inviting me. I think we're living in a world where we look online and we see certain lifestyles and we admire it and might think that's the reality. The reality is when you turn off the phones or turn off the TVs or the computers, the life that you're living now, are you happy with it? Are you comfortable with it? If not, you have to believe that you can change it. You have to know that you have the power to be able to transform and change your life. And I'm a big believer in you have the foundational tools already around you in you to be able to change and at least start on the path that you desire for yourself, because you deserve to have and experience a good life.
Beautiful. So where can we find Rosie with the Rosie effect?
With the Rosie effect. You found that, didn't you?
I did. And listen, I forgot to say that, what you normally say, you just got to do it scared. You just got to do it scared. You just got to do it scared. So, just do it. Just keep it going. Keep it going.
But yes. Thank you. They can find me, Rosie, R-O-Z-Y, Amponsa, A-M-P-O-N-S-A-H, on all social media platforms. I'm building a community of folks that want to transform their lives. So come and join us and let's have conversations.
Yay! Yaponsa Neja Warrior. That is
there's a song that has my full name in it. My full name is Rosemary Amponsa. And there's like this one old school song. I remember as a kid, once I heard it, I was like, did these people sing the song for me? For me?
Oh,
do you know that song?
I
don't know if it's Kojo Enchi or one of the guys, but it's an old school song. And he literally says, Rosemary Amponsa, something.
Oh, I'll look for it.
You should.
Rosie, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for making out the time for us to have this beautiful conversation.
Oh.
I was so much into this conversation that I forgot to tell my people to subscribe to the podcast.
Please do. The one and only Nana Yaa. Join, yes.
Yes, we're building a community on this platform, bring you the stories that you need to hear, and you have heard a financial narrative, how to get there. And it's not only financial, we've gone through personal narratives, we've gone through relationship, we've gone through a whole lot. Jeez.
This is good. This is really good.
We've gone through a whole lot. Rosie, thank you. You are amazing. Don't stop. And I'll be coming to the wedding.
Amen. Don't invite no way.
Mate.
So guys, send your perspectives my way.